everybody, my name is Joey. Welcome to my channel. Look at this deliciousness. I got my June 2025 Jesse James Beads Magical Mystery Bead Box. It's called Welcome to the Southern Shores and it's absolutely delicious. Here's our little list of ingredients. This is so beautiful. This is really a bead lover's gift every month. The graphics for everything is beautiful and it is jam-packed. I'm going to go through the bead mix with you. This is called Sunshine and Salt Water. It was in this little pouch. But you guys, this is so amazing. There are two different colors in this textile bead. They are just absolutely beautiful. With it looks like the ocean and the sand and the sunshine. It's like a metaphorical fabric bead, or cord bead. There is this gorgeous ceramic focal bead with a large hole. It's so beautiful. It's so chunky, and with a hole like this you could do multi-strands of Brazilian waxed cord. You could even run chain down through there if you wanted to do something really cool with chain. You could leather, like a nice thick chunky leather. This could be like a bolo style if you wanted to do this in the middle of a necklace, or create a really beautiful Y necklace with this. I mean, that is just one stunning bead. And then this mix is filled with these gorgeous oval crystals. And look at these, you guys. These look a little bit like sand. They are beaded boho beads, but they look a little bit like sand. I absolutely love these giant crystal rondelle spacers that can work with those. And look at the gorgeous bead caps. And there are some oval like barrel beads in turquoise with a gold splatter on them. Gorgeous hot sunshine colored, got a little kitty cat hair. Gorgeous hot colored, like sunny, like the blazing summer sun. Teardrop that's faceted. What else is in here? Oh, these gorgeous turquoise crystal beads that are faceted like oversized rondelles. What else? Did I miss anything? Bead caps. Oh, these beautiful sand colored faceted teardrops. They have a really pretty profile. Just, these are so fun to play with your wire wrapping on. Then there's this gorgeous little mix called Sunrise, Sunburn, Sunset, and Repeat. And this is just a whole little tube of bead caps and spacers. And one of my favorite spacers of all time is in here. Look how gorgeous this is. Let me pull a couple of them out of here. Let me just dump it so you can kind of see. There's these really pretty bell like cone or bell bead caps, but this is the one. Let me grab a piece of wire. Look at this spacer bead. I've seen this maybe last year in a Jesse James bead mix. It has these like I don't even know, like really little rounded spikes all the way around, and it's just very contemporary and highly textural, and I love that. That's going to be going in my project. And then look at these wonderful spacers. They are so beautiful. They're beaded around the edge and they're really thin and flat. I love those because I'm a disc loving girl, and these little gold textured thin, like wafer thin to go in between, just makes me so happy. And then there's a little bit more shallow bead cap. I mean, this just makes me so happy. I love, you can never have enough of these beautiful metal bits. And then this is so cute. This little set here is called Shell Yes. Oh, Shell Yes. I love it. So they did not have a pearl in here. I have glued a freshwater pearl in here. And if you are in need of freshwater pearls, I encourage you to have a look at the Jesse James Beads website, because they have a beautiful selection of pearls, glass and natural pearls on their website. So I glued a shell in here because I desperately want a pair of earrings out of these, and this seashell is just sitting in here, and I'm going to show you what I do to glue it in. But I just took a little freshwater pearl and I played with them because they're all a little bit different in size, and just chose one for each. So I'm going to show you what I did with that, as well as some other natural elements. I already knew what I wanted to do when I opened this box, and I just love it. And so I want to like show you everything that's in it, but I actually really want to start making. And then this is so cute. These little puffer fish. This is called Sophisticated. It is the sweetest little set of puffer fish. They have a little gold loop on the top, and look at their little funky little faces and their little fins and their gold and their dots. They're just absolutely stunning. I love these. Whimsical earrings would be really cute with this. Bracelet charms. I have a lot of summer jewelry coming up, so I just absolutely love those. And then this is the drenched charm set, and I absolutely love these too. I think this would make a gorgeous earring to use these loops going up into your ear wire with something, and then hang a bunch of charms in the loop, and it kind of looks like, you know, when you see a rainbow over the ocean, a gold rainbow. And then there's this beautiful sunburst charm. Look at that. So pretty. And it's you know, it can be a charm or a pendant. You have all these little openings that you can wrap some beads in there. You could glue something in the middle if you want. You know, like this doesn't exactly fit, but just to give you an idea, if actually that's not bad. You could glue a crystal right in the middle if you want to make a sunshine colored crystal pendant. That actually is not bad. And there's a couple of things on here that could work. And then there are 3 bead strands in the mix, and one is more beautiful than the other. I'll start with this gorgeous one, Southern Shores. This is a mix of gold spacers, turquoise discs, crystal rondelle spacers, reds, orange, turquoise. Look at this gorgeous orange like buoy. This is like a sailor's knot, but in fantasy orange, you know. And I love this giant filigree bead cap. I'm crazy for this bead here. I've never seen this. It's like a spaceship shaped disc bead, and it's got tiny little textural like, I don't even know, it's just like a little bumpy texture. So pretty. I am going to cut that open. This is my favorite bead strand in the whole box. This is called Feeling Salty, and it is a beautiful little, very small, these look like they're probably 4mm turquoise rondelles or Hishi discs. They're not super thin, but oh my goodness. I'm gonna try to get 2 bracelets, maybe 3, maybe even some earrings. I'm gonna try to get a few pieces out of this. I love that bead. I've pulled some things from my stash. I literally can't wait to show you. And then this is my second favorite bead strand. It's called High Tides and Good Vibes. This is like a sand-blasted glass, so it has a little bit of a gritty texture, almost like if it was rolled in sand. It's beautiful, and I love the ombre. It's just beautiful the way it ombres from the clear, and it does have a little AB finish, but into the turquoise watercolors and then the sunshine colors. It's absolutely beautiful. It looks like dusty tie-dye, you know, and tie-dye always reminds me of the beach. I don't know why, but it just reminds me of summer fun. And this is like a pastel version of tie-dye, and it's just wonderful. Beautiful 6mm size. And again, I'm going to try to get 2 bracelets out of this. I'm going to try to keep the ombre together. I just love it. So I'm thinking in my projects that there's going to be a lot of mixed media. I'm thinking stretch bracelet, I'm thinking strung bracelet, I'm thinking component bracelet like beaded chain bracelet, and just doing a major bracelet bash, summer bracelet stack that you can mix and match, wear all together, separate. That's what I have on my brain, and I think this is also going to be one of my bracelets. Look at this gorgeous chain. This is called Sandy Toes. I'm going to pull the card off of here. I hate to mess it up, but I have to. I want to get this off. I'm going to cut it like that so that I don't damage the pretty graphics. It's really hard to cut into the Jesse James Beads things sometimes because they're even packaged so beautifully. But look at this beautiful, these are hand wrapped orange faceted crystal rondelles, and each one is wire wrapped to the next one all the way along the length. And when I saw this, I thought how beautiful this would be as a double bracelet and a charm bracelet. So my plan is to line these up and put a jump ring through maybe every second one and put a charm. So I will like kind of double the impact because it's rather petite. I love that. And let me say, this is on gold wire. There's no silver in this box, and I am a gold lover, and I love, love, love all of these warm, bright, delicious colors, and there is no silver. Everything is accented with gold, and it is my absolute favorite. I have to tell you, Jesse James did not check with me on this box to get my approval, but if they had, I would have said I 100% approve. And then look at this gorgeous chain. This is called Beach Bonfire, and I wish you guys could feel this because it's so weighty, and this is really, really cool. I'm going to do the same thing and take the card off of this one so that I can really share it with you. It is just amazing. It is a length of chain. There's a jump ring right here, so you can literally put your clasp on. If you wanted to just put a lobster claw clasp on this and, you know, make a pendant, if you wanted to choose any of these chunky beads and just make a pendant to dangle from it, or make your other pieces strung and layer this in with your other pieces. And even, you don't think of this, but the red and orange, look how bright and happy and summer fun that is. I am just crazy, crazy, crazy about every single thing, like every single thing in this box. So let me show you what I'm doing for my earrings, and I'm going to show you my setup for my charm bracelet projects. So this one I did maybe an hour ago with E6000 glue, and it is pretty much set up. And so what I'm going to do is take a little piece, I'm just going to like put my freshwater pearl on that head pin, and that's just so that when my glue is in place, I can place my pearl just right. It doesn't take a lot of this glue. And the other thing I did before I glued is chose the front of my shell pendant because it's going to be an earring. It's going to be attached to my ear wire right from this loop. So this is going to be the front where I can see the opening. So I'm just going to get a little bit of my E6000 flowing and just put a little bit kind of touching the edge and just fill up that space. That's even more than I'll need, but it's going to go inside the shell. And then I'm going to take my pearl on the wire and just fit it in just how I like it, pull my wire out and push that in place. And look at that. Try to hide the hole of the pearl a little bit, but just to add, I did the same thing on this one where it's facing forward. They're unique to each other. One of mine even has a hole in it, and I just love it, and I love the gold on it. So I'm going to set those to dry, and I'm going to show you what else I have going on over here. These are seashells that I picked up on Cocoa Beach last week, and I have done the same thing, taken my E6000 glue and a little bead cap and glued it right over the natural hole. There was a natural hole in each of these, so you can see that the hole is clear with the bead cap on top. And this one, the hole landed, whoops, come back little guy. This one, the hole was here, kind of on the front middle, and I just took a spacer bead, a little small daisy spacer, and glued it right over the hole. And it just gives this a more polished, makes it actually look like a jewelry finding. And then I did the same thing on this one. Just this one, the hole was right on the top. And again, I found these on the beach. These were free. They were in my favorite jewelry supply store, Cocoa Beach, walking on the beach in the morning. But then the gold that you see on here is also my own addition. I have a couple of different sets of these chrome markers, and this one has a fat tip if you want to do like polka dots on something, and this one has a really skinny tip, and that's what I used for my seashells. So it looks like that. And so like on this one, the natural grooves in the seashell were going swooshing across. So I just took my pen, I made it heavier down here, and I just took my pen and just like glided it across just to highlight those natural grooves. I left some of the shell showing, so it's just like fading into gold and back into the natural seashell. This one, the natural grooves on the seashell, look how pretty that is just highly textural. In this one, I just went in the direction of the grooves with my gold. And then on this one, it's quite smooth, but there were a little bit of natural grooves here. So I just made like a nice thick golden line, and I left this part so that I could actually show you. This dries pretty fast, but it does take a little bit before you can touch it or you get it on your finger. So I'll do like half the shell and set it down, and it's really forgiving, especially with this thin tip. So what I do is get started, and then if I want more gold, I'll go back. I kind of like that thin line. But you don't see it so much. See, it really, you need a few minutes before you can touch it. So this side is already dry because I did it earlier. So I'm going to go back and kind of follow my same line and get a little bit more gold on this side. Maybe a little bit right here, just to pick up. See how it just picks up the little grooves in the shell? Do a little bit over here. Just like that. I love doing this. I'm just going to set that on my mat to dry, put my cap on my pen. I will put a link in the description box to my favorite chrome markers. These come in gold and in silver, so if you're a silver lover or if you like to mix the two, you can get that metallic look on your natural elements. But then the thing that I love to do, because as you can tell, these look rather dry, which is what happens when they're under the water. When I pick them up on the beach, they look shiny and beautiful, but they're rather dry now because they've been out of the water. So I have dollar store, fast drying, really glossy, kind of thick nail lacquer, and that's what I use to make them look shiny. But before I do the nail lacquer, I want to take my Permalac coating and just touch my plated bead caps and findings. So just like brush a little of my Permalac so that those do not turn dark, and just like make sure that that hole stays clear. I just always want to make my hole stay clear, and I'm going to do all three of those just like that. And so what you see me doing is setting up my charms for one of my bracelets, and I just wanted to do this with you, and then this all can be drying while I clean up my mat and set up for the projects. I don't know how much I'll get done in this video. As I start to create, I'll decide if I'm going to do a part 2 video or if I can get all my bracelets done in one. But honestly, I have a lot of bracelets in my head right now, so I don't know. I just don't know until I start creating. And if you can't tell, I am super excited about doing it. So I'm going to just show you what I do with this nail lacquer. It is just literally just nail lacquer. I'm just going to brush it over everything, over my gold that I've washed, and I do both sides. I'll do, I'll turn it over and do this side as well, and see how it just looks. It still looks wet, like, like when it was in the ocean. I use my pliers to help me. I just keep a little piece of plastic, anything, and place that in there to dry. So here are the things that I have pulled from my own stash to add into this box. If you've been on my channel before, you know that I generally do that. I really love to personalize my designs so that they are unique to me. And so I will go in and look at what I have in my own stash that I really like. And I'll give you a little heads up. I love this bead strand, as I said, so I'm thinking that I'm going to do one bracelet, with this ceramic fish and this. I also love the two colors. This is absolute perfection with the box to do maybe kissing sea turtles. And last week when I was on Cocoa Beach, I actually saw the sea turtle nests. They are protected, and it's by Florida law. You cannot disturb the nest, dig, or go anywhere near where they have laid their eggs. And the authorities rope off where they have laid their eggs. And these are really, really a protected species, and it's just the most joyful little animal. I love them so much. But I had the right colors for the box in sea turtles, and then these two, I don't know if these will make their way in. I had some coconut hishi beads left over from another oceanic bead box this month, and look how great they look with that. I also had this in my stash. This has a hole that goes right through the middle, so I'm hoping to get 2 bracelets. I'm hoping to get 1 bracelet with maybe the fish and 1 bracelet with the seashell. And then these are also just from my stash, and I think that I might be able to provide a link for this. This was a whole assortment of oceanic charms, and there were a lot more in there. There's a seahorse that's really large for a pendant, but I just picked these 2 out in case I need bracelets, charms for my bracelets. And then I have some gold plated calorie beads. I don't remember where I got these, but again, when I edit the video, I will look for links for those of you that don't live near the ocean, or you don't want to do your own gilding with a pin, although it's really fun. But I have a few of these, and I don't know, I never know if what I have pulled from my own stash is going to make it in to the projects, but I love to have some choices here to work with. And so I'm going to show you one more thing. Somebody gave me this pair of earrings. They've been in a little plastic baggie in my oceanic supply. I keep mermaid glass in one supply bin, and I keep like natural seashells and oceanic charms and that kind of thing organized in another bin in my supplies. And somebody gave me these starfish post earrings. I don't even remember when, but I've had them forever, and they're okay. They're actually not terrible. But I'm going to disconnect all these chains because these are plastic pearls, and I'm going to rescue these beautiful little charms from here, and I'm going to use the starfish post for my seashell earring. So my first earring will be done. That's going to be a simple matter of connecting, and I am going to just like clean up a little bit and organize myself, and I'll be back, and we are going to make some bracelets. Okay, you guys, when a box is this good, it's really hard not to just keep creating. My earrings are done, my first little pair of earrings. They look amazing. So, I really encourage you guys, if you ever get vintage jewelry, if you ever go thrift shopping, if somebody offers you some old jewelry, don't look at it as old junk, because sometimes there are really cool findings in it that you can't go and buy anymore. And, so when I deconstructed those earrings, look what I have. The oval jump rings on these vintage earrings are just really gorgeous, beautifully plated, and really nice and strong. And look how cute. You'll see in my bracelet, the charms that came off of it are just so pretty. There were 3 different ones, 2 different shells and a seahorse. And so I'm going to jump to my next pair of earrings, because I am putting these little these are like beach boho minimalist stick earrings with one of those little seashell charms as a drop. And so I made my bracelets, and I'll show you all the patterns, but this is what was left over, and I just love the dangle on these, and these are super simple to make. I'm using my gold filled interchangeable lever back ear wire, so I didn't even put an earring on them. So let me show you really quickly how I did this sweet little earring. This is a piece of 20 gauge craft wire, and when I'm doing earrings, I really like my one-step looper because I effortlessly get my 2 loops the same. I'm going to put the wire in past the back jaw of the plier. It makes a fresh cut for me. It makes the loop, pull it down, smooth, warm, straighten. When I take it out, I have loop perfection. And then I'm just going to recreate this stack here. So I put one of the turquoise hishi discs, and then, oops, don't want to miss 80 seed bead, I use seed beads for spacers on my bracelets and on my earrings. And you'll see when I share my bracelet patterns with you that basically what I've done here is color blocking / also pattern blocking, and I just love the effect. And I did the same thing on the earrings. So another 8/0 seed bead, and then I did 2 little blocks, another 8/0 seed bead, 2 more little color blocks of the turquoise, and an 8/0 seed bead, and then my final turquoise drop. And then I'm just going to come to this side and get a hold of my loop and put the wire back in the tool. This time I'm using the guide hole, and I'm going to gently close here. I can watch what I'm doing here. It makes that cut for me, makes my loop. Make sure I get my beads out of the jaw of the plier. Pull everything down as I'm closing. So now that loop is centered on my stack, and when I take it away, my earring is done. I'm going to close this really well and work harden that, and it is ready for an ear wire or your interchangeable ones. And then I even left the oval jump ring on this little rescued seashell charm. I love to even go to like discount department stores and look at the clearance jewelry. And I have some videos coming up where I am deconstructing and reusing some just clearance items that I've purchased. You know, really inexpensive and just, you know, super cool. So that little earring is done, and now I'm just going to put it on my ear wire. If you've never seen the interchangeable lever back ear wires, they have a little cradle there, and you can just slip your earrings in and out. So I have 2 pairs of earrings done. I'm crazy about both of them. They're both different but beautiful. And then let me share my bracelets. So this is my little fishy bracelet, and I've gone into actually I was working on some other videos for the Jessie James Beads channel, and I had 2 bead mixes here that I had finished with. I had the mascarpone bead mix, and I had the Market Fresh mini mix, and I had already done my projects, but Jessie James Beads does bead mixes like nobody else, and you just find all kinds of treasures in there, all kinds of spacers. And so these were in the water ice mix, these really bright orange tassels, and I decided to pop one of those on my turquoise bracelet, and I love it. And there's another little bit from the earrings that I took apart. And so this stack here is the little, they're kind of a flower spacer. They're not really a bead cap, with a crystal rondelle spacer in between, and it makes this really pretty component leading into my fish. And I decided to just really feature those Hishi beads, and just a stack of 3 and 8/0 seed bead, 3 and 8/0 seed bead all the way back around to the front. And on the other side of my fish, I just created another little pattern and a little tassel, little floofy flower, and a seahorse, and I just love that one. And then this is probably my favorite. This is the most gorgeous little bracelet. This is one of the shell from my stash, and this was my favorite spacer. I've literally used every single one of them that was in the box and on the strand. And then I added in my little coconut discs, and the same pattern, 3 and a spacer, 3 and a spacer. And so that's my first block, and then I just did every other one dotted with gold coming back around to the front. And you guys, this bracelet is so beautiful. Look at that. I love stretch bracelets for the summer. I love the ease of on and off. They are lightweight. There's not a lot of hardware, you know, if I wear sunscreen, which I do when I go out. So I did decide to do stretch bracelets, and I have the last one here, and I'm going to show you how I tie it. I don't do anything fancy. I do overhand knots, right over left, left over right, and then I use my GS Hypo Cement. It's a really rubbery, like a knotter's glue. It works great, and I've never had a bracelet break for me. And it's funny because when I started stringing, you know, everything changes from the supplies, but I did my kissing turtles here, and I decided not to do the orange turtle. I was leaning toward that, But I decided that this seashell colored one just looks better with these sandy, these look sandblasted to me. And I kind of kept the ombre and in the color blocks, and I absolutely love this one too. If you've never made a stretch bracelet before, it's a good idea to pre-stretch it, and that gives it some longevity. Stretch bracelets are not forever keepsake jewelry. They are fun for a few seasons, and then don't lose your beads. You know, you can restring these again on stretch cord or string it and crimp it this time, but you know, your beads are always good. You didn't hurt your beads, but they are just great summer jewelry. So I'm gonna do an overhand knot, and then I'm gonna go in the opposite direction. And I have a couple of little tricks. So that was right over left. I'm going to turn it around and go in the opposite direction. I have a couple little tricks for making my stretch bracelets last. I make them the circumference just a little bit larger than I actually need. And that way I don't stretch them out so much, taking them on and off of my wrist. And the other thing that's really helps is if you can finish tying your knot where you have a bead with a pretty large hole. So like on this one, my knot is hidden inside here and you don't see it, but I could put a lot of glue on it and pull it inside. That spacer bead has a large hole. And on this one, I don't even remember where I hid it, but it's inside one of these. And so I can put a little bit of extra glue and like pull it into the bead. And my bracelets really last when I do a stretch cord. So this is the GS Hypo Cement. It has this really wonderful precision tip, so you can really direct your glue wherever you need it, and especially, you know, inside a knot. And I'm just gonna like pull things apart and get a good bit of glue all over the knot. And the precision tip, as wonderful as it is, you need to get the pin back in there right away because the glue keeps oozing until you get that pin in there. And then I'm just gonna pull this. Actually, I don't even need to really pull it because it's gonna hide right inside. Pull it a little bit, pull it into there. And now I can come right here and trim this really close. Leave a tiny bit of a tail, it'll make your knot stronger. And so my kissing turtle bracelet is done. And so I don't even know, I mean, I could probably stack all of these. I popped a little orange on it and I just love it. It looks great with the orange chain. So that little stack of bracelets is done. This is another bracelet and I'm gonna do this on Brazilian waxed cord, mixed media into like metal and extender chain. So let me do this one first because this is only connecting, and then I'll clear it out of the way and we'll do the knotted piece together. But this is another one of my seashells. It's been drying for a little bit. I set this up first. I found this on the beach. I found all of these on the beach. But as I said when I was unboxing, I'm only 45 minutes from the beach, so I go often and do my beach walks and collect elements for my jewelry. But I have done a little bit of research for some seashells that you can purchase in order to have elements to work with. So if you're not near the beach or if you just don't have a good supply and you would like to do some summer jewelry, check my description box under this video and I have some links for some really good deals and some really beautiful natural shells that you can just order and work with. But I found these and I've done the same thing with my pin, just kind of highlighted all the natural little grooves in the seashell and put my nail lacquer on top so it has a little bit of a sheen. And now I'm just going to come here and put a simple loop in this one. They're all a little bit different. Like these, I put a jump ring through. This one, I'm going to do a simple loop on it. So I'm just going to put my plier in there. Kind of looks like I'm starting a wrapped loop, but that's how I do my simple loop. And just bend it right down to my seashell. I'm going to go ahead and close this and straighten it because I won't be opening this again. I'm attaching all of my elements, my seashell elements, on my charm bracelet here with colorful jump rings. So this one is going to go right here. Let me move this little guy out of the way. And so let me show you, this is all laid out. In fact, let me zoom in. I won't even pick it up. Let me zoom in a little bit and show you. So I can actually pick this up. So what I did is I took 2 lengths of my chain. Let me get my fingers out of the way. I took 2 lengths of my chain that are even, and you do have to lose, that's why I had a couple of orange crystals. You do have to lose a couple of crystals. But I put a jump ring through 2 of the loops, then I skipped 2, and then I connected them with another jump ring. Then I skipped 2 and connected with another jump ring, and I did that through the whole length. And now I'm down to this side where I need to attach my last jump ring. So this is the size that I used, and I made these jump rings. So it's super simple, and that just gave some impact and a little bit more boldness to a petite, more delicate chain. I just love it, but doubled, it's just amazing. So I'm just going to gather up those loops in this jump ring. So now before I zoom back out, just like that, let me lay this and show you. All of my charms are made except for this one. So these beautiful he/she disc turquoise beads were on our strand, the beautiful strand with the orange, big orange focal bead. And so I made I think this is an 8mm jump ring, and I'm going to open it pretty wide, but not pulling it apart, but twisting it. And then I'm going to wiggle it in here, and that's going to turn these disc beads into charms. So that was my last one to make. The other ones are all done. So that gives me a beautiful little charm here. And so what I've done is alternated a seashell and a disc bead all the way through right in the center. So this is my center right here, and on my disc beads I'm going to be using these little color-coded enamel jump rings in orange. So in other words, this charm gets an orange jump ring, and my seashells get a turquoise jump ring. So I have these are really small. These are 4mm, but it just adds like a little pop of color. And so I'm going to attach it right to the top of the jump ring. So I'm going to start right in the middle, and let me open this and show you. Just going to open it, and I'm going to start right here in the middle, and on this side I'm going to add this jump ring and this turquoise disc. This is going to be a really cool charm bracelet. And I'm just going to attach it right there to my bracelet and close that little jump ring. Okay, and now on this side I'm going to take a turquoise jump ring and add this seashell. So it's going to be a charm bracelet with charms on 2 sides. So there's going to be, when I put this on, there's going to be a top and a bottom to my charm bracelet. Okay, and the first one is on. First one is on, and I'm going to lay this back down so that I don't get lost in my pattern here. I laid it out so that I know exactly where to connect. And so on the next jump ring, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to use an orange jump ring and attach this turquoise charm to that, and use the turquoise jump ring and attach this seashell to that. And I'm going to just, connect all the way, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is the sweetest oceanic charm bracelet. I love the little jingle that it makes. It's so pretty. So on this end, I was able to open this jump ring because I have this little assortment of lobster claw clasps that have a swivel, like a little swivel on it. So it makes a bracelet like this really easy to close, that this turns. And then I've just attached my seashells and my turquoise charms and added in those colorful jump rings. And I just added in a little bit larger jump ring on this end, again, just to make it easy to clasp. And you can actually adjust the length of a bracelet with taking away a jump ring or adding one. So it's a really good little jewelry maker's tip. And then I have this, I want to add this little pop of orange with another turquoise jump ring. And I have a little trick for connecting, and I know that some of you have been on my channel for a long time and you've seen this, but for newer people, I'm going to open this jump ring, careful not to disturb the coating, and I'm going to come to this end of my bracelet, and I'm going to put this jump ring over the entire circumference. So gather up both of those chains. It is not, the jump ring is not connected through a jump ring. And then I'm going to add my little tassel right on there and close it. And if you don't know why I did that, I'll show you what the purpose of that is. It's a great little trick for connecting. So what that does is that no matter which way I pick my charm bracelet up, my little charm is not stuck or kinked. It floats all the way around 360 degrees. It's just a really good little connecting trick. So when I put this on, I am going to notice, like, this is the back side of the bracelet, and notoriously charm bracelets look great when they're laying flat and they're all organized, and then when you pick them up they look like a mess. But the connecting is important, and mine is done in an organized way. And so you can see this is the back side of the charm bracelet, because all the charms are connected on the top part of the jump ring on this side. And this is just absolutely gorgeous on, and I love the movement. I love the jingle. It's not heavy at all. It's really lightweight, and I love the little bit of gold and the little pop of orange. So if I want to layer that with my fish, I think this would be a beautiful, just a beautiful summer layering bracelet. I am just totally in love with that gorgeous little charm bracelet. Oh, I'm getting tangled up in my next bracelet. I looked at this and I literally thought that the E6000 didn't hold on this shell charm that I made, which I've never had that happen before, but it's not connected to anything. So what this is a beautiful decorative head pin from a set that I got from Jesse James Bead's website. I don't know if they still have them, but that's what I want to use to make my final drop on the Brazilian waxed mixed media, Brazilian wax cord mixed media bracelet that I'm going to do next. It's going to be the last item that I make. So 2 pairs of earrings, and it'll be 5 bracelets. This is just an amazing box. So I have another one of those turquoise enamel lobster claw clasps, and I'm going to be mixing shiny metallic gold with the colored with the textile. It's going to be a mix, so really boho but really colorful. And I have these rings here that I'm going to connect together to make my extender chain on my bracelet. I'm going to just share this with you guys. I got these and I love them. These are stainless steel rings. They're diamond cut. They come in gold and in silver, and there's like three sizes of each metallic. I'll put a link to these. In fact, I think I might have these in my new list of my current favorite findings. I recently found them and I love them because they're really sturdy. And so if you need to connect them to make a chain, they're really nice and strong and great for that. And because of the diamond cutting, they are really hard to see that it's not a solid ring. If you close it right, it's hard. There it is. It's really hard to find where they're cut, and they're really nice and sturdy. So I'm going to connect these together. I don't know if I'll need 3, 4, or 5, but I'm going to be doing that to make my extender chain. So if you need a really beautiful chain, decorative jump rings linked can really save the day. So I'm gonna start by making my final bauble. And again, I love the textile element, so I use this as my inspiration. I went into my Brazilian waxed cord container and pulled out some turquoise and yellow. So what I did here is I have 3 strands of 0.5 millimeter turquoise and 1 strand of 1 millimeter yellow. And as I knot and as I build my piece, you're just going to have the peaking of the 2. And so that was my this bead was my inspiration for that. So let's just build the final little dangle here. These gorgeous large bead caps were in there, and I think a crystal rondelle spacer, and oh, I have one of these left. That is my favorite spacer of all time, and I've used every single one of them in my projects here. So let's see. Let's start building. Bead cap. That is gorgeous. Look what a difference that spacer makes. I love it. And then I'm going to do another bead cap on top. Crystal rondelle spacer. And this orangey red. Look at that for a final bauble on my piece. That is gorgeous. Okay, let me get a simple loop in here. I'm going to bend this head pin and do a simple loop. I'm going to get that simple loop to go down inside my crystal and straighten everything up. Look at that. And this is going to get attached with this yellow coated jump ring. Just pulling out that little bit of yellow that's in this textile bead, and that's going to go at the bottom of my extender chain. I don't know how long I'm going to make it. I'm going to build the bracelet first. So my extender chain is ready to go. I just knew exactly what I wanted to do, so I did this first. And I may add more jump rings. I'm not sure how long I want my extender chain, but that is all hanging out there and ready to go. So now to start this piece, I'm going to take all my cords and I'm going to come through my jump ring, and I'm going to let it come down enough for me to do a couple of overhand knots and then draw it together and do a third overhand knot. So just like this. And then I'm going to bring everything, I'll do another overhand knot, and then bring everything together, all the cords. So there's 4 here, but I'm going to bring them together like this, and this is going to get a really chunky knot here on the end, so you'll see all my colors, but also get my cord going in the right direction. I'm gathering them all up together, and I'm going to do an overhand knot right here to start me off. And a lot of times I'll put my GS Hypo Cement on this as well. And so regarding length, I rarely measure when I'm cutting my Brazilian waxed cord. I just eyeball it. And on a piece like this, even more so, because I need about a 7-inch bracelet, but since I'm creating an extender chain, I could do this bracelet 5 inches and then make up the difference in, you know, my connected jump ring extender chain. So it's really a forgiving design, really a forgiving way as far as getting your size right. But depending on how much knotting you want to do, knotting does eat up a lot of length of your cord. But that gets me started off, and I may even have to open this jump ring. I like my bracelets to be really easy to clasp, and I don't know if I'm going to feel like this lobster claw is getting caught on there. I'll go ahead and string. I can easily open this and add in another jump ring when I'm done. And so I'm going to like pull this aside, and I may or may not. Sometimes I'll put some of my GS Hypo Cement right in here and then snip that and have a clean end to my bracelet. And sometimes I, will trim it and like separate the fibers and make like some boho fringe. But I'm just going to start by choosing my beads here. So this is a lot of these beads do have really large holes, and I did a little test. I can get all 4 strands through, but like on these, let's see, what do I want to do first near the end? I'll start off with one of these bright orange ones. On these, I'm not sure, I think I could only get 3 through, but I really kind of like that because it gives me a chance to embellish a little bit. And if you're not familiar with Brazilian waxed cord, it has like a light coating of wax. So you can just pinch and twist and make a natural needle that is pretty easy. You do along the way, sometimes like I can see that that's frayed a little bit. So, you know, along the way you might want to give yourself a fresh cut to make the stringing enjoyable. And let me come back and see what I can fit through this bead. Beading and knotting this way is a little bit of a puzzle because you have to find, you know, what bead you want next in your pattern and also what fits on your cord if you want all of them. But I can look in the hole and see that I can probably get this fourth one in there. Sometimes if I'm stubborn and it doesn't want to work with me, I'll even get out a big eye needle for the fourth cord. I'm going to give it a try. Okay, it doesn't want to go, and that is okay. Let me untangle my little self here and I'll show you. I kind of like it when this happens sometimes because it gives me a spot to embellish on the outside of the bead a little bit. I'm just going to bring my first bead down, get everything organized. Just bring it down, and here's my cord that didn't fit, that's hanging out, and I'm going to come in with some of the gold seed beads. Now I used 8/0, these are 11/0 because these fit really well on the 0.5 millimeter cord, but on this cord that doesn't fit, I am going to just pick up some seed beads that will hug the outside of my orange bead. And just bring those seed beads down to my bead. And you can choose, like, if you want to have this really hugging the bead, or if you want it, I think I'm going to remove just one because I want it to really hug the bead. So when your strands don't fit in, it's a good way to add extra texture and like another little color, another little something to your piece. So now I'm going to come right here with all my cords. My fringiness is in my way, and I'm going to get an overhand knot done, and I'm going to use my knotting tweezer and reach inside that loop, and I'm going to get a hold of all the cords, the one that the seed beads is on and the other ones, and just pull the tweezer down to the bead, and when I pull, my knot will land right where the tip of those tweezers are. And can pull the tweezer out and push that knot into place. Do it with your tweezer, you can do it with your thumb. And so my first little bead is on. I'm probably going to end up trimming this. For my next pattern, I really do want all the cords to go through. And I know that it fits, it's just the challenge of getting it through. So I'm going to take a big eye needle on that fourth cord that doesn't want to go through and just slip this in there. Kind of pull it down at an angle a little bit. And just make sure that I don't pierce my other cords. I'm just going to pull everything down and just use my big eye needle, slip it through. And pull. So that way I got all, because they do fit, it's just challenging to get them in, I think, sometimes. So I'm going to take this all the way down to where I stopped, and then I'm going to make a little, kind of a little component here right on the cord with this spacer bead. Get all my cords through there. And I wanted to pull in one more thing. I have 6/0 seed beads, and they work great. 6/0 seed beads have a really large hole, and they work great as spacers on a Brazilian waxed cord project. So I think I'm going to bring in some of those, and let's see how we go. Yeah, they work great as a spacer. So I had those 2 orange crystals that got cut off of the chain, and I just mixed in some 11-0, 8-0, and just made this little bundle. So like all 4 strands have been strung with seed beads, and I'm just gonna tighten everything down and do another overhand knot right here. And I think, I'll check my length, but I think this might be the last bit before I tie on to my extender chain. I'm just gonna grab that bundle with the tip of my tweezer, pull my knot right there, tighten it down. It looks like a little beaded bead, just really highly textural. I love that. I've done that before in my project. So let's see how I'm doing on length. Yeah, it is perfect. I am ready to add in my extender chain. Let me just tidy up a little bit. Okay, so I have my thing secured, and this is open, and I'm going to try this. I'm going to try adding the extender chain that I've already built and see how I do on my length. I'm thinking I need to add another small jump ring on this side where my lobster claw clasp is, and I'm going to go ahead and trim this because I know that if I do anything here, it's just going to be some fringe. Oh my goodness, that is so pretty. I might not want fringe on both ends. I may end up gluing that end, but let me see how I did. Oh wow, I got my length absolutely perfect. Oh, this lobster claw. Sometimes with these coated lobster claws, you have to kind of release them a little bit because of the coating. There it goes. I got my length just perfect, and I just love the drama of this final bauble, and I love all the mixed media. But yeah, I may need to, let me see, if a bracelet is hard to clasp, I'll end up not wearing it. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is so gorgeous. I love, love, love this. I might not be able to wear this when I'm making jewelry because of the dangle, but when I go out, when I go shopping, when I go for lunch with a friend, this is the bracelet. Oh, wow. Okay, I am going to address my fringiness here. Let me bring my GS Hypo Cement back in and put some glue on this side. And what I really love about this precision tip, especially on knots like this where I really want to trim it short, is I can feed this tip right inside my knot and place some glue right inside there. Let me clean the tip. And I'm going to come to this side and just do the same thing. Just add a little bit of glue. But I'll just take my knotting tweezer and just separate the fibers a little bit. They would kind of become fringy anyway with wear, but when I finish a piece, I just want to help it along. Just separate the fibers so it looks not really like a tassel, but boho. I just had to try on this little charm bracelet. I love it so much. This is so pretty. I love the jingle. It's really lightweight. It's easy to take on and off. I got my length just right. It's just the sweetest little oceanic summer boho charm bracelet. I just love it, and I'm really thrilled with all my bracelets. I can wear these together or separate. I do have a discount code for Jessie James Beads. You can use it to sign up for the Magical Mystery Bead Box, or you can use it to shop the website. And a lot of people don't know that you can bring the cost down of the Magical Mystery Bead Box by signing up to receive it longer. So if you sign up for a whole year, it's an extremely affordable box, and you're never disappointed. They raise the bar every single month. I'm crazy about my 2 pairs of earrings. I think they just turned out great. I feel like I am summer ready with all this boho chic beach jewelry, and I'm just, oh, this box was so inspiring. And on that, I hope you found some inspiration in my video, and I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, friends.